Hello, this is Winam from South Korea, and I'm currently heading to East Sea of this peninsula. Last week in South Korea, there was a big wildfire at southeast area, and it was quite devastating and frustrating because there's nothing we can do. All I can do is just go to work as usual and just watch the news, all the headlines. And they said that many people got injured and over 30 people have been killed. One day at grad school, my professor told me that her parents have been living in the city Andong during their entire life and they had to leave their house with nothing and just stayed overnight at shelter. Thing is, the big wildfire not only have burned the structures to the ground, but also her childhood memories. She was really upset and seemed like she can't help herself release her anger or stress, and I can totally relate to her because I felt the same way even though I'm not living in that city. In early 2020s, there was another big wildfire at East Sea area. I just wanted to witness how the nature is recovering themselves. That is the reason why I'm currently heading to that area. The weather out here is quite cold. There are no greeneries at this moment, but let's see how it goes.
I started hiking along the trail near the highway rest area. At first, it looked bleak and was very windy because all the trees were gone. Then I found trees standing with some supporting sticks. The mountain was completely covered with them, planted by someone. I also noticed that many pine trees had been planted. When it gets warmer, I think all the trees will show their green leaves across the entire area.
Look at the place. Wow.
The planted area was much wider than I had expected. It must have cost a lot of money and effort involving many people. I also witnessed nature restoring itself in its own way. Spring fruits and flowers had bloomed. Seeing the restoration after the past wildfire made me feel relieved.
I started hiking up this mountain from there. The trail was quite steep, and I realized that the government planted a lot of trees to recover this mountain. Can you imagine how big wildfire was? And these are not the only one. I was stood there and I realized that there are several places more. And here it is. Oh. So I guess they had to cut the trees that had been burnt to the ground and then replant the trees so that this mountain can be reinstated. Yeah, it's huge.
There were more areas that had been burned to the ground. I found dead trees that had not been cut yet, and they seemed like they are screaming. After 2 hours of hiking, I arrived at the summit.
Because of the name, I think someone put this spoon starch here. I really appreciate our government's efforts because sooner or later we are going to forget about all the bad things happened in our country and we are just gonna focus on ourselves. That's not because we are bad people, but because we are too tired of thinking about our lives. And I really appreciate that they don't give up recovering our nature and put some efforts on it, and then the greenery is growing again, and I'm really thankful.
이번 주까지.
주에 그래도 한 4만 불, 3만. 또 거기가 좋으셨는데.